Hello, my name is Kat. Welcome to my channel. Today we have a reading update. Hello, how are you doing today? I hope you're having a wonderful day. So today's video is about what I've been reading during the month of January and February. January, I think I read more than February, but in general, all is good. I have a really good time reading these couple months. So let's start with saying that you probably hear me saying a couple times, maybe more than a couple times, that I don't read romance. But let me tell you, during the month of January, I've been reading a lot of books with strong elements of romance, and some of them they are in the box of romance stories. Let's start with the first one, that is Variety. I'm going to put the picture somewhere here, and this is a checkout from the library. Colleen Hoover is a very popular author right now. Everybody is like reading a lot of her books. You can see her books everywhere. Some people don't like it, some people like it. So what's about this one? Start with that. Variety is a book about a writer that she is struggling finding a job and is struggling with money, and she has an interview with her editor and some other person that is trying to hire her to be like a ghost writer. Like the condition for her to be a ghost on this ghost of this writer is to move to the place of the writer, and that's when the story starts. So what things I like about the book? I did like that it's very fast paced, keep you intrigued until the end. You always wondering what's going to happen with the characters, who is lying, who is actually saying the truth, if the events that they are telling you or like you're reading about is actually what actually happened. So it keeps you intrigued until the end, and also leave you with an open ending that you keep wondering what actually happened with them. Aspects that I don't like, I don't think I find any like something that I really dislike about the story. Obviously, it has a lot of romance scenes, like spicy scenes that in my particular taste, it didn't bother me, but I find them sometimes unnecessary. So if you are like you don't like romance and you don't like those spicy scenes, you may not like this story because it has those. I categorize this, or I think this story or this particular book is more like a domestic thriller. So if you ask me if I would recommend it, I would recommend it, especially if you are reading something very heavy and you need like a break. This one can help you to read something quick and easy. So the next book that I read is like young adult, and it's The Poison Season. This one is a young adult, like I said. It's a story about these two kids that they are falling in love. So there is another romance element on this one. But basically, the story is about Lioli, that she lives in a town, and that town it has some magical elements, and you can see the magic when they are singing, and the forest and the river protect this small town, and if somebody tries to get in, they get killed by the forest and by the river. And Leoli is struggling to figure out how to protect her brother because the brother is not showing any magic on him, and if they don't show magic until certain age, they have to be exiled from the town. So she's trying to find a way to help her brother, and at the same time she met this guy that is an outsider, and that is not okay, it's not allowed in her town. So you read about them talking and falling in love and trying to figure out how to help each other. It's very cute story. It's kind of fast, but it didn't work much for me because I don't think I'm the target, like the public target. It's really too young for me. And I was like, okay, where the magical systems coming from? What about the forest? Why the forest is magical and stuff like that? That I needed more information, and probably a younger person will not worry about too much. They will be more focused on about this love story that is happening in the book. It is fast paced, so you can read it really quick. is not really bored. I think it should be a little shorter because, like I said, they're like talking about their how these kids they fall in love, and that for me it was okay. I get it. I like can we move on? But maybe for a younger person it would be more interesting. So it's not bad if it's younger, young adult. I think younger obviously than me, they probably will like this one better. So the next one that I read is Pride and Prejudice. So this one is my second book of Jane Austen, and this is a pick for my book club that we have with my friend, and we kind of run it in Instagram, and we pick 6 books every year, and this is our first pick for January and February. And obviously, Jane Austen is considered one of the most romance, like the first romance author. So there you go, another romance. But anyways, Pride and Prejudice, I did like it better. The first one that we read, it was Sense and Sensibility, and I didn't like any of the characters on that one. On this one, I did like more the characters, Lizzie and Mr. I forgot, Mr. Darcy. They are like at the beginning they are some kind of person, and they growing like a person. They're like develop like a person, and at the end they ended up being still with their personalities, but being like a better of themselves. So I did like that growing on the characters, and I did like how they fall in love with each other, because it's not just happen like this. It's not like they see each other and oh, we're in love. It has to be. It was a process until they realized that they have feelings for each other. So I did like this one better. I think it reads faster than Sense and Sensibility, but some of the people that I've been reading with them in the book club, one or a couple of them they struggle at the beginning, maybe because the characters are like not likable at the very beginning, but the more you read it, the more you like them. So maybe that's why it was a little harder at the beginning. But I think it read faster than Sense and Sensibility. So if you ask me if I recommend it, I would recommend it. I did like this one a lot. So the next one I read is Naked in Death, and that is from Nora Roberts. I'm going to put a picture here because it was a library checkout too. I have it in my Kindle like an ebook, and then I have some audio. I did not like the audio at all. So basically, the story is about this detective that her name is Eve Dallas, and she's resolving crimes. Usually, some person dead, and she needs to resolve that crime with her team in her department. And in this first book, she kind of met a person, and she start like uh, they show you how the relation start between that person. So there you go, is another romance element on this book. And also they have a lot of spicy and love scenes in this book, so if some people don't like that, you may not like this one. They are there, but they're not all the time. They're not like on your face. So that's why sometimes they consider this one like a romance, is included in the romance area. Also is a futurist suspense. So technically this story of this detective is he's resolving crimes in the future, in the long future. I guess now that they have 56 books and they're about to publish the number 57 on the series, probably uh, the futurist elements, they are more clearly when you read them. One thing I want to say, this series, they kind of read it like the standalones, because you're trying to resolve the crime with the detective, and when the crime is resolved, so the story is resolved. I would say it's kind of like the SUB series, that every time you have one episode, you can watch the episode and you don't miss anything. You kind of understand what's happening. You don't need the background of the other people, but you understand the story. So I would say this one is almost the same style. So if you like the SBU show, you're probably gonna like this one. I did, like I said, I did like when I was reading it. I didn't like it when I was listening, and the audio, it was not good for me. But when I was reading the story, I get more interesting on the characters. I did like the style of the writing, and I probably will pick up another book. I'll probably not going to do it like in order. I will just pick up any other one. I don't know when, but I did like the style of writing. So that's the other book that I read, and it was an ebook. Then I have another ebook that it was Rock, Paper, Scissors, and I will put the picture somewhere here. And it's by Alice Finney. Finney. Okay, this one, it was a little bit like a disappointed. So technically, the story follows a couple that is going in the middle of the nowhere in the mountains in wintertime, taking a weekend off so they can try to figure out how to resolve their problems in their marriage. So what I they get there and some strange things happening, and that's when the story starts. So it's kind of like a thriller. Okay, so what I did like how the writer present the point of views. You see the same event from the point of view of the wife, the husband, and we have a third point of view that it doesn't show at the very beginning, but it's almost at the beginning of the story. So you're gonna have a third point of view. So you see all the point of views, and I like that thing that she did, that the writer did. And I was interested is she has some letters that the wife is writing to her husband every time when they are like celebrating their anniversary. So that was it was interesting too. That I did like. What I didn't like, many things. One thing start is that at the beginning of the story, the author kind of present the story like it's going to be something supernatural in the story. And then the more you read it, you say, it was a misunderstanding, so you kind of forget about it. But then suddenly, at the end of the story, that supernatural thing appear again from nowhere. So that I feel like is very inconsistent with the story. Then another thing I noticed too is like she mentioned things at the beginning, and then when you are in the middle, whatever she mentioned at the beginning is changed for something else, because she's trying to give you a twist in the story and make it like interesting and engaging for you. So how I feel it that she was forcing in too much to have twists in the story to get you into in the story, to keep you interested in the story and say, oh, that's so interesting, I couldn't expect this happen to the characters. But I feel like it was inconsistent because I remember what she said at the beginning and then suddenly something else. For me, it didn't make sense, that kind of things. It was the small details that I can see that she didn't, either I think she did it in purpose or she actually for real forget that she wrote or put that at the beginning of the story. And then the ending, it was no point to be there, because I think she was trying to explain something like all those twists with the ending, but it didn't help at all. It made it more confused and unnecessary. It was like no reason to be there. So if somebody asked me if I would recommend it, I would not recommend it. Maybe if you're listening, it will be fine because it's really fast paced, so you don't, and it's not too long, so you don't need to spend too much time to it. So that was a disappointed, and we read this with a friend from work, and she felt the same about the ending, especially. She was the one that she didn't like it at all, and I kind of agree with her. But in general, I would say it didn't take me too long. I read it really quick, and it's okay. So I know I will not maybe pick up another book from the same author because probably it has the same issues. Unless you think it's not right, it's not like that. Just let me know if you think it's not like that. Maybe their other books are better, but this one I didn't like. It was too many. I think, force and mistakes in the story. Moving on. So the next one that I did, it was actually an audio, and is PS I Still Love You. I will put the picture somewhere here too. This one is a young adult and it's a romance. And it's about these two kids that they are trying to figure out how they're going to keep the relationship when they're going to college. You probably even watched the show in Netflix, the movie. I read the series long ago when I was start reading in English, and I did like it. And when I actually I thought, okay, let's do the audio to see how I like it now. And I wasn't sure what to listen, and I decided to pick up this one, and I actually like it. So I can say this is my comfort read. It's something sweet, nice to listen, nice story. They are not. I feel I like all the characters in the story, so I did like the second read on this case that I did it in audio, and it is another romance, and it's a young adult romance. So it was good. I did like it. And during the month of January, I listened a lot of booktube, a lot, a lot of booktube. I listened, so I didn't listen another audio. It was just booktube and this one. Then on the month of February, I read No Country for Old Men, Corman McCarthy. I will put the picture here too. It was a checkout from the library, and I have it the physical and I have it the ebook too. So I was like in between both of them. I did like the style. Okay, let's start from the beginning. It's about this guy that is running away because he finds some money, and they're chasing him and they're trying to kill him. And it's set in the frontier in the borders, sorry, in the borders of Mexico and United States. And then you have two more povs, or two more point of views. One is the sheriff Bell, and then the other guy that I forgot his name, that I'm going to put, Churchill. I will put it somewhere here, the name of him. So there are three main characters. So all of them, they are really strong characters, and all of them, they have really strong personalities. My favorite character of all of them, it was the sheriff. um, I did like when the sheriff is thinking and analyzing and going back to what happened during this like chasing time, like when they're trying to kill this other guy. He's analyzing and trying to see what happened. And actually, the first chapter start with him remember and analyzing what's happening about this case, or about this situation. So I like that part on the story, and I like how the author write it. I would say that I get confused on the when the people is talking to each other. I don't know if it's me. I think it's me. It was my problem because I have to go back a lot of times to figure out who was saying what. And I think it's me. It probably is not the author. I did like the story and I did like how he writes, but that aspect of the who is saying what, it confused me a little bit. I would say it's not too much my style of stories, but doesn't mean I will not pick up probably another one from him. But no, anytime soon. I think I will take a little more time before I grab another one from him. But his writer is good, and the stories are very fast paced too. You have packs of action, and then something kind of in between, and then again packs of action. So I did like it, but it's not too much my style. So I need a little more time before I pick it up another one, see if I like the other one better. This one has a lot of good reviews. A lot of people like this particular one. So I didn't get disappointed. I thought it would be even harder for me to read it and understand it, but I actually go through the book normal, very in a normal pace. And we'll see. Is If you ask me to recommend it, I will say yes. If you like a action pack, like a cowboy things, stories, I think you will like it. And then move on to what else I read. Oh yeah, I'm holding in my hand. Sorry, this one, and this is historical fiction. And Independence is set in India during the partition, and it's about these three sisters. The three sisters are struggling because they are like having the social problems, but at the same time they're having problems in their family. And all the three sisters are very different. One of them wants to be a doctor. One of them is more like she fall in love with a person that she doesn't supposed to fall in love, and the other sister is trying to be more like strict and follow the rules, and always trying to please their parents, but seems like it's not working. And you can see how the dynamics between the three sisters uh, happen during all the story, and how the events of the civil troubles that they have in India affect that relationship between the sisters. The author, I think she writes really good because she show you the problems that they were having in India, very partial, without being too much in one side or to the other one. And and it show you too how people can deal with those social issues when everything at the beginning, before all this partition, was everybody was getting along together, they work together, they actually remember how they fight together to get independence and all of it. Then and after this partition, everything get destroyed. So I would recommend it. It's not really big, it's really small, so I would recommend this one. It's really good. And then let's move on now. Oh yeah, I did one more audio. I have a note because I tend to forget what I did. So I have an audio. I will put another picture here. That was my audio for February, and it was a memoir, and is my I glad my mom died. So this one I think is a memoir that a lot of people is talking about. Is really popular and is actually really good. The actress that write the memoir, she does the narration and she does a really good job. And it's like, it's about herself, how she is accepting and exploring how her life was manipulated, and how she was abused from her own mother, and how her own mother has like her own issues too. Like you can see, it was like a circle, because the mother of her mother, in her grandmother, she wasn't not too nice. Probably did make some damage to her own man. So it's showing you all of that, and she's telling you how she processed the grief when her mom died, and how she finally accepted that her mom, she wasn't doing good to herself, or she wasn't doing good for her. So it's really moving, it's really honest. I think it doesn't feel like fake. I really like the memoir. It's hard to, like everybody said, it's hard to make a review for memoir because you're talking about a personal moment. But what I appreciate when you feel the memoirs are feeling honest, and I think this memoir feels really honest, and that's why probably a lot of people like it. And I recommend that if you can listen it, it's very short, it's not too long, and it's really good. She really does a really good job, and I would recommend that. If you ask me, it's actually really good. It's really good. So move on to what I'm reading right now, and I think I'm planning to finish by the next week. So right now is Sunday, it's the last Sunday of February. So I technically supposed to read this one, Malice, long ago, and I get scared. And I usually don't read too much fantasy because they scare me. I like to listen my favorite booktubers talking about fantasy books, but when it's myself to pick one, I kind of put like a step back, because usually they are big ones, chunkers, how the brothers Wayne say, and they are long series. So I usually get scared when I need to pick this kind of books. I would say I was thinking it will be harder for me to read, but so far it's good. There is very character driven. I can really picture what he's describing. I can really see what he's describing in the story. The update of this, how it go, it will end up being in my next reading update. I hope I can finish this next week. And one more thing, I'm in the middle of, and I'm trying to do this because I have a lot of short stories. So I tried at the beginning of the month to pick one of them, and I pick up this one, New York, New York stories. So far, I just read two stories from this one. The first one is New York Club, New York Nightclub, and the other one is The Making of New York. Um, then I think that's it. What I'm reading right now. I'm not sure what I'm going to read next. I think it will depends how I get with this malice. If I get tired of fantasy, probably I will switch to different type of book. Or if I get still in the mood of a fantasy, probably the next one it will be another fantasy. I will see. But I think that's it for this video. If you like the video, thumbs up. If you want to know if I post another video, ring the campanita. And thank you for watching. Bye.